on you.
All right.
Still eating Thanksgiving. Keep or throw?
What?
Keep or throw?
I don't care.
I don't know what it is. Stuffing, maybe? Gravy?
So how's your Thanksgiving?
That's pretty good. I had 3 grandkids. 2 of them are grown-ups, so they helped me.
How long were you married for?
33 years. Second marriage. My kids are all in their 40s.
You have a seat there
Okay.
in the walker.
Okay. Looking for the hand stuff because I don't know where it went.
You're the only one who uses it.
Yeah, I know, but I thought it was over there and I can't find it. So I thought I had one in my purse.
Oh. Hey, when you said you worked in the healthcare or mental health professions or something like that, social work profession?
Yeah, I'm a licensed social worker.
You ever come across the phrase, what's the definition of insanity?
That's fairly common, yeah.
Yeah,
Why?
what's the answer to that?
Well, it's a pretty broad term. It covers a lot of stuff. I don't know what the specific answer to that is.
The common, simple fucking answer.
Anybody who seems crazy to you is probably crazy
No,
to you.
what's the definition of insanity? You never heard that used before?
I've probably heard it used before. I don't remember what the answer
It's
is.
doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results.
Okay, makes sense.
You've heard that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a pretty common response to that. How many times do you think somebody would have to repeat doing something before they were insane?
I don't think everybody would be considered insane just because they repeated something over and over. They
Well,
might be considered
okay,
a little bit stupid, but
Yeah, let's put it a different way. How many
Okay.
times would you slam your head against the wall before you have to realize it hurts?
for me it would only take once. For some
Okay,
people it
then
would take
then,
more.
Then if you slammed your head against the wall more than once, would that be insane?
No, it might be stupid.
That's stupid. Okay. Yeah, we could definitely work with interjecting stupid and insane. They pretty much are the same thing.
Well, not necessarily. Insane might be considered something that you don't have any control over.
Yeah.
Because of mental
So-
facilities.
Okay. And
Stupid you might not have a whole lot of control over either, depending on your IQ.
yeah, keep forgetting I was going to ask you. Are you ever going to get me that definition of your job description?
I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, well, let's call your boss and
Well, I can tell you right now she's working at a house.
okay, well then we can at least.
But I will see her later
Here,
and I will
why don't
ask
you
her.
give me your phone number and I'll call and leave a voicemail.
Okay.
Is there some connection between the question and wanting to talk to her about the job description?
What question?
The question about insanity.
I don't know.
I'm just trying to figure out what I did with my phone. Here it is.
I remember that meeting we had, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
She said she would give it. We're still waiting for it, I know. Okay, ready?
Yeah.
218 833 914, excuse me, 9174.
Okay.
838-9174.
Okay. What's her name again?
Morgan. There. That's hand lotion. That's not what I'm looking for. Ah! It went way back.
Hey, Morgan, this is Dan Westman over here in Glen. I'm here with Susan, and we were just talking and realized that you haven't sent, or she says you haven't sent that job description paperwork yet. You know, and it's been a couple months, so I was just wondering what the holdup was. Give me a holler back, appreciate it. Bye. What?
Red box.
Right there. Right there. Is it right there? Oh no, it's over here. It's over here.
Oh, okay. So that. I must be crazy. I can't find it. It's been 1 month maybe? But yeah.
No, it's
sometimes-
been a long.
Sometimes
It's been,
people need reminders on
it's
things
been
like
closer to 2 months. in fact, I'm pretty sure it's been 2 months.
Pain reliever, don't need that. This one.
So
This one.
you're married for almost 40 years,
No, 33.
33 years, and you said your husband was a real good woodworker?
He was a pastor, and he built the house we retired into.
Okay. He's a pastor?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, where did he preach at?
United Methodist Churches. The last one was Olamia. And before that, he had been in Aiken.
I don't take this question wrong, but I got to ask something now.
Okay.
Okay. You told me your husband was African?
He's African American. Yes, he was born in South Carolina.
And he's a pastor in Aiken?
Yep.
A predominantly Dutch-German community?
Dutch. I don't know about
Well,
Dutch.
it's heavily German,
German
Austrian,
and Finnish
Dutch.
and such, yeah.
Yeah. Did he have much of a congregation?
Oh yeah, it was a big congregation when he came. It's
Huh.
much smaller now.
There wasn't an issue like that?
Oh, good Minnesotans. If they had issues, they didn't talk about it.
I gotta admit, I am surprised. I am.
There weren't a lot of people of color when we first came,
No, there isn't.
and our kids are mixed. But they found there were, by the time our third child, there were quite a group of them. So there are more people in the community now that are people of color.
Did your kids go to Aiken High School?
Mm-hmm.
Did they have issues there?
Yeah, any place that they might, sure. They probably had issues in Elk River too.
No, I wouldn't think they'd had anything like Aiken. I went to Aiken High School just for a couple months, but I mean, my family's old, you know, and they know the traditions around here. You know, and even jazz gets shit, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and we're talking 10, 15 years after your family would have been here. You know, I just can't. Wow, I was surprised. When I moved back here, I was down on Long Lake one day on my rowboat out there, and I seen a black guy come by in another rowboat, and I mean, it actually shocked me.
Because you weren't expecting anybody of color in the
No,
area.
I was not, and definitely not in a rowboat rowing around Long Lake.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I can count on the times on one hand probably that I met a black person at Lakeview Dam Lake Bar growing up. You know, and you got to understand that, I mean, granted, I'm talking about a little kid in a bar, but I was literally down there almost every day that we were up here in Aiken, which was 50 to 60% of my life.
Mm-hmm. You probably would have seen more Native American people.
Oh yeah, but even there, no, if Native Americans walked into Dam Lake, they were usually run out.
Because they weren't accepted?
No, because it was still segregated. It wasn't officially segregated, but and when I say run out, they weren't like, say, would you please leave? It was more like the waitress would come up and give them a real cold shoulder,
Mm-hmm.
and just make it abruptly clear that they just weren't appreciated there. If they walked in order to drink, the bartender would take forever in getting them a drink and slam it on the bar.
Mm-hmm. Just not give them any good service. Sure,
No.
understand that.
And you know, and then they would just leave. But if we've seen them out in the community, it was no problem. It wasn't an issue, you know.
just that was your bar and they weren't expected
Yeah,
there.
it was a very locals
Yeah.
bar for one, and I mean, I can even remember. Well, for instance, they threw a party down there, and one of the owners of the bar, my dad was the bouncer, and one of the owners of the bar decided to invite the daughter of the sheriff, who, and unbeknownst to the other people, the other owner of the bar and my dad, the daughter of the sheriff was 14 or 15 years old. So when when it's time to close the bar, they closed the doors and continued to party. And as the story goes, 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, got a knock on the bar door, and my dad answered, and he refused to let the sheriff in. The sheriff was looking for his underage daughter, who was passed out drunk and back with one of the owners of the bar.
Ooh.
And my dad refused to let him in without a warrant. You know, at that time, in order to be a bouncer for the bar, you actually had to be a licensed. They got their own badge, and they were sworn in not as deputies, but as something close to a deputy. I don't know what exactly it was. But I remember, you know, growing up, I was always proud because I'd run around as a little kid with that badge my dad had. You know, and it was his two best friends that were the bar owners, and that's why I say I was down there every day. It's because Dad was the bouncer, you know.
And he was there.
His two friends bought the bar. He moved up here, bought the land. His two friends moved up here, bought the bar. You know, and then they started inviting a bunch of their friends, and their friends all came up here and bought land around Long Lake and Dam Lake. It's Rivers and not Swede. God, I can't remember their names now, but they bought Canfield's Point, and then of course Dad met Jeanette through the bar, and Jeanette was Johnny Erickson's daughter, and through them he met Westerlands, and Johnny and the owner, Father Westerland, I can't remember what his name was, Clarence maybe. But he was the family household. Westerland's a huge family, huge
I
family.
know a number of names, but
Yeah.
I don't know the father's name.
Westerland and Lillenquist they're all from the same bloodline, and between those two, they probably back then I wouldn't be surprised if they were in like the 10% of the county.
Okay.
As far as population, you know, so Dam Lake, Swanee's, it was called Swanee's at the time. It's the Pine Inn now. You know, I can't remember. It went from Swanee's to Three Sisters, or Three Sisters to Swanee's, and then there was another name interjected in there with another owner, and then now it's the Pine Inn. But anyways, they were the two local bar hangouts, and that's where the locals in this demographic hung out. And if you weren't a member of this demographic, you just weren't accepted in those bars. And being native there was nobody native accepted in the demographic, that lived in the demographic. There's about halfway between Glen and Melmo, if you look on the right-hand side as you're going south on the road, there's kind of a trailer that sits up on a hill in a clearing.
Okay.
Okay.
Is that a lived-in one or a dead one?
I don't know if it's lived in or anything anymore. In fact, it might not even be there, but it was there back in the 70s and 80s.
Okay.
And early 90s, I know. And at one point, they tried to make it a store and a bar and a restaurant. That was owned by the natives, and that was the only piece of property, as far as I know, between here and McGregor, or between Mille Lacs and McGregor, that was owned by native people.
You talking about one trailer or the trailer court?
No, not the trailer court. That's further down the road. This is, as you're leaving Glen going south, there's a clearing on the right-hand side about a mile out of town. You know where the snowmobile trail crosses the road on 47?
Well, the
Anyways, it doesn't matter.
somewhere along in there.
Yeah, like I said,
gotcha.
I don't even know that the building is still there. But they tried opening their own bar and store in there. And I can't remember if they got burned out or, but, because it wasn't, what it was a drug den. When I was real little, it was a drug den. And it was Native people that owned it. You know, and I just remember the comments, you know, as we go, if we were going along the road, there'd always be a comment as we went past that place about it being bad. It was always referred to as being bad. And I know that probably in the mid-'80s sometime, they tried to open a store in there.
Mm.
And shortly after that, pretty sure that the property got abandoned. I think it got burned down, or it burned down, one or the other. Probably it got burned down. But yeah, that was the only native type of housing, as far as I know, between Mille Lacs and McGregor. Or I should say between Mille Lacs and the Indian Reservation, south of McGregor. That was literally the only native. So for natives to stop in at Dam Lake, it wasn't very common. It was almost as uncommon as black people. But I don't know, growing up here, I don't know of any black families, any black people at all that lived up here.
Well, they lived north of Aiken. They
Yeah.
came probably with the loggers, and several families became farmers, because I knew one family when we first came, and then another guy who was part of the color guard.
And then they were a real private, secluded.
They had a section where they all lived, and there was another family that had kids that were in school with my
Yeah.
daughters.
And see, and that sounds to me like segregation.
Well, I think at some point there was some of that, but there were probably more families in the area initially that
See,
there were. I only know of those 3 families when we first came.
When you're talking about back with the loggers, now are we talking back in 1860s?
Somewhere between there and 1900, yeah, probably. But these families had owned the property for a long time.
It was actually more acceptable in the 60s than in the 1860s and 70s. You know, up until World War One, it was more acceptable. Black people would have been more accepted up here than from World War One on to the 60s.
Why is that?
Because racism wasn't really a known thing. You know, it's kind of like out west. You know, there wasn't many black people out west back in the 1800s. You know, but they weren't.
When they were there, they were accepted.
Yeah, I mean, they weren't looked at. Okay, how to explain it? You know, it was like a deer and an elk. Okay, the deer hung with the deer, the elk hung with the elk, but they didn't mind each other. They just didn't socialize together.
That's exactly the way my great aunts would have described it. They're okay in their place, and we're okay in our place, and we just don't.
Yeah.
We don't pass
No, they don't
time
have.
with each other
Yeah.
unless you have to. You knew people, but you didn't. You weren't
I mean,
friends with them necessarily.
You wouldn't require them to drink at a different watering fountain or ride in the back of the school bus or something like that. You know, the farmers, if there's a barn raising and your neighbor happened to be black, I would think that the black man and the white man would help work together to raise the barn. But you wouldn't invite them over for Sunday dinner. And you wouldn't expect an invitation from them for Sunday dinner.
Right.
You know, and that's you know, the terminology got so fucking screwed up and anti-political now and shit. It's just stupid. You know. I mean, when we were kids, you know, and I was telling you about we spent half our time up here and half of our time in the cities. We lived on 51st and Upton South. I went to Fulton Elementary School. I think that was it. Pretty sure it's called Fulton. It was like 4 blocks to the north of us. Okay, I remember in my 6th grade class, there was one black girl in the school. You know, and there was 3 6th grade classes. She was the only black girl in the school. Because in 6th grade, you're from 5th to 6th grade, you actually had classes you went to in different rooms.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in 5th grade, you just stayed in one room and had one teacher. In 6th grade, though, you actually had multiple teachers and the students rotated. There was only one black girl in that 6th grade. I remember that.
Well, my kids probably felt like that, even if there were other kids in the, in some of the other classes.
You know, but anyhow, I don't even know how we got on that subject. I was asking about your husband being a preacher.
But you know, there's something about
my mind
yeah,
drifts.
there's something about preachers' families that are pretty well accepted, even if you're new. They told us that in Aiken, you had to live there for like 25 years in order to be considered part of the community.
Yeah.
And for us as a pastor's family, it was much faster because the pastor was, had to be there and, jumped into all kinds of things right off the bat.
I know this. We got a female pastor over at Bethlehem.
Uh-huh.
She's not the first one. I've never felt comfortable about having a female pastor over there.
Because she's female.
Because she's female. It doesn't feel right to me.
That's what you grew up with, I suppose.
No, I never came across that situation growing up. I don't know why. It just does not feel right.
Common for me, there were women who were serving. They were not at the same level as the men when I was a child, but they became clergy later on. So it all depends on your domination or what your experiences have been.
I don't honestly. I don't know where that attitude came from because I never came across it as a kid.
But if you didn't have any experience with a woman pastor, that
I just don't
change how you look at things.
I would not be a member. Well, actually, I'm not a member of any church, anyways. I just don't believe in organized religion anymore.
But if you were to consider a church, that would be your church.
Anyways, what I was going to ask you about your husband was, okay, 33 years married, built his own house. Say he's got tons of woodworking tools and carpentry tools. And okay, so in all those time, in all these 33 years, he's never taught you board dimensions?
Is this where this is coming from?
Yeah.
2x4s, 4x6, 6x8. What are you talking about?
Okay. Then how come you had such a hard time when I told you we were going to Brainerd to get 2x6s?
I had never measured one. I didn't think about how it was how it would fit into the vehicle.
Why would you need to measure? I mean, there's pretty specific dimension. I mean,
if I had thought about how big it was, I would have just taken my vehicle. Okay?
Okay, and how many times did I explain that to you?
I don't know. I didn't count them.
Okay.
It wouldn't make any
And
difference.
what's the definition of insanity?
Oh, so am I insane now?
No, I'm saying that I'm insane for continuing to try. Okay. Now, there again, you realize you were wrong about that.
Well, yeah, I would do it differently now if I
Okay.
had
You realize,
seen the piece of wood you were talking about.
You realize you were wrong, and you sit there and you tell me your husband's explained dimensional lumber to you. Sit down, please. Okay. On Friday, I asked you two specific questions. The first one was, hey, your husband owned a table saw. Your response was, I don't know, but probably. And that's not your exact words, but probably. And I said, would you mind seeing if one of your sons, or you said grandsons, could cut some strips for me?
Mm-hmm.
He said, I don't have a problem with that. And I gave you the measurements. I gave you dimensional lumber measurements. 3/8 inch strips, 3/8 inch thick by 1/2 inch wide.
1/2?
I'm sorry, I think I said 1.5 inches.
You said 1
Inch and a half.
inch to 1.5 inches.
Yeah.
Is what I wrote down.
Something like that. Anyway. Okay. You wrote it down. Okay. You didn't understand it. You made me repeat it. Okay. You made me repeat it to you. I had to explain it to you twice. And I even remember sitting there thinking, how can she not know her husband, that she was married for 30 years? Or I thought it was like 40 years at the time.
Doesn't matter.
30 years, not understand what a 3/8 inch thick, 1.5 inch wide strip is. I explained to you twice. And I sat there, I watched you write it down. Okay?
So?
You called me twice Sunday, and then you turned around and sent me a text message asking me to repeat myself again for a third time.
Okay, I talked to the boy. He's going to be 24.
Okay.
I explained as much as I could understand what you were looking for. I gave him the piece of wood. He looked at that trying to figure out what it was you wanted to do with it, and that's why I had asked you about the what you were doing, and you were going to put it around the door for the weather stripping.
You just don't grasp this. It doesn't matter what
I don't grasp it, period. And neither was I able to explain it to him.
Okay.
So I thought if I could get you on the phone, maybe you could explain it to him.
Okay.
Because I didn't understand it.
Here's the thing. Okay. The explanation, I'd already given it to you twice. And then I turned around and I typed it out in a text message to you, and I got a fourth.
Your text message said 0.375 inch thick.
Yes.
What is that supposed to mean?
That is 3.375 inches thick. Exactly that. That is
That's
3/8 of an inch thick.
Okay.
You already know it's 1.5 inches wide.
But what is 3/8 of an inch supposed to tell me that I didn't already know?
That's what I'm saying. I'd already told you it twice. You don't need. You absolutely don't need any more.
I don't need any information
Okay.
because if he doesn't understand it, it's not going to happen.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
Because if I can't explain to him what it's supposed to look like.
What is that board out there that you took off your trailer and laid on the ground? What is that board?
Which board?
The board that you took off your trailer and laid on the ground.
Oh, that was out there?
Yeah. What is it?
It was 8 by something. I don't remember. I can go out and look. It's got a sign on it.
Doesn't need us to have a sign on it. They're pretty simple. They're 2x6s.
Okay.
Okay? They're 2x6 boards. Now, if I tell you I need a board that's 3/8 by 1.5 inches, is it going to be anything else besides 3/8 by 1.5 inches?
Well, to me, it sounds like a piece of like that.
Doesn't matter what it sounds like to you. It needs to be 3/8 by 1.5 inches. You are given two measurements. Okay? Those two measurements tell you specifically, and anybody, I'm serious, Susan, anybody who's gone to grade school would know that there's in any given obstacle in the world, there's 3 dimensions: length, width, and height, unless it's an oval or a circle. It's length, width, and height. And if it's a circle, you are given a radius. Okay? Any sixth grade human being who's been through sixth grade would know that. That's pretty common, simple intelligence. All right? Now, we haven't got to the problem yet. We're working on the symptoms. Okay? Please.
It doesn't matter, the
Yeah.
problem or the symptoms.
Yes, it does.
The problem
It's
is
seriously.
that if I can't understand it and he can't understand it, it's not going to happen.
That's not the problem. The problem, we haven't discussed the problem yet. Will you please sit down?
Well, I gotta get some things done.
No, you don't. You don't have anything else to do. You've done the pills.
I gotta do the juice, don't I?
You gotta sit down. Because we've gotta work through this fucking problem. And right now, we ain't even gotten
I got a message from Morgan, don't let me forget to tell you.
What's the message from Morgan?
You want it now?
Yeah.
I just didn't want to forget that I got it. Morgan says, let Dan know he will have his after-meeting summary and that job description by the end of the day tomorrow. Corey, who's the boss, was working on it but never finished, so I'm going to compile one the best of my ability. I guess it's a new version of the job description because I know there was a job description when I first came.
Thank you.
It takes a little bit of time for some of this paperwork to get out, especially when they're really
Thank you.
short on staff.
Thank you. I understand. I just. Okay. I gotta bolt my camera here. So, have a seat.
I'm just trying to visualize what it is that you're talking about, and I don't see anything that I could say was that size. What do they call that stuff?
Okay.
There's little pieces of wood that you put in a fireplace.
You take a board, you cut it till it's 3/8 inch thick, and then you cut it the other way until it's 1.5 inches thick, and then you bring it here. It's that simple. You don't need to know what the fucking board's for. I could use it for 100 different things. It can be used for 1,000,000 different things.
Well,
I can sit here, I can right now, I can point you out at least 10 different pieces of board in different applications that would be very comparable and similar, if not the exact same measurements,
okay.
in this house. And you
Well,
just,
that would be nice.
yeah.
But the other
you just
thing
don't-
you said
the picture
was
frames,
you.
the walls of the picture frames.
Okay. The other thing
You know,
you
the trim around the door right there, which is exactly what we were actually going to use it for.
like that, you mean?
Yeah.
But you said one 2-foot long and one 3-foot long, and you needed a 9-foot total of wood.
Yeah.
Now that didn't make any sense.
Okay, and I can't explain that any simpler. I told you that I can't explain it any simpler. So there's no reason for me to beat my head against the wall.
Well, but
Now we're done with this conversation.
all right. Well, I don't know what
Okay.
you're going to get. If it's
You
gonna
don't.
look
I'm not
like-
going to get anything from you. I don't want it. Just bring me my board back.
Okay.
It's.
He was willing to cut it. He just needed to understand how it was supposed to look.
Yeah, and clearly, I would gather that your grandson has been through grade school, and he probably would. If I could give him the measurements, he would understand it just fine. It's just that you can't communicate to him because you can't comprehend the conversation. I've given it to you 4 times, and I could give it to.
Dan,
I've given directions like that to millions.
Did you go to home ec classes?
Yeah, actually, I did.
I didn't go to shop.
No, but you spent 30 years with a husband who worked with stuff like that.
My
And-
husband was a pastor for most of those years.
Okay, but if he worked with wood tools and stuff like that, then he clearly either he quit having those conversations with you because he knew you couldn't comprehend them. And he didn't want to beat his head against the wall, being insane.
I
Or
don't know that he tried. I have no idea.
Yeah,
I don't remember
my guess is he
conversations
tried
about
once or twice and he just stopped because he
I
realized
don't-
what your abilities are.
I don't know.
Now, will you please sit down so we can continue with getting to the problem?
What's the problem now?
I haven't been able to explain it to you because you won't sit down.
You said you wanted to be done with that.
I said we're done with that conversation.
Okay.
Okay? I said it's a symptom. Okay? Now, let's please go back to this meeting that we had. You were informed, and I sat here with Morgan in this chair. I was in that chair. You were in that walker, almost exactly where you are right now. And Kim was on the phone.
Yeah.
Okay? And I actually had the conversation with Kim the day before. She was supposed to bring it up with you, but she didn't. She left it to me. Okay? And that was, you need to understand that I do not like repeating myself.
You've told me that, yes.
Okay? I do not like repeating because it's completely stupid. It's insane of me to keep repeating myself when you're dealing with somebody who doesn't have the ability to comprehend what you're saying. Okay? Now, that is part one. So you are fully aware of that. You are fully aware that I gave you a bunch of examples right in that meeting of where that had transpired in the first couple of weeks, especially with the pills. Okay? You just didn't want to listen. Okay? And you still don't want to listen to about it. I told you about 3 weeks ago when I had to walk out of the Paulbecks because you wouldn't listen and you just wanted to argue with me, and I felt like my heart was going to explode, that I got back here, I ended up taking nitro because you pissed me off so bad for me having to repeat myself and sit there and argue with you about things. Okay? If I had any choice at all, we wouldn't have gone to Brainerd that next time when we had to go over there to get that phone. But I fully, clearly realized, because I did not give you any information at all about that last trip we made to Brainerd, you did not have any fuel to try and sit there and form and create an argument with me and form an opinion. Okay? And the trip went off smoothly. So I cannot give you any kind of information about anything, because all what you're going to want to do is argue about it, even though you don't know what you're talking about. And if you think I'm wrong about that, look at those lumber out there. You fully admit you were wrong. You did not need to bring that trailer over to Brainerd. Okay, I told you half a dozen times before we went over that you do not need a trailer for that lumber. No, you wanted to do that. Okay? So the problem is, where do I go from here? All right? Where do I go from here? How do I deal with this where 4 times you asked me for something that either you don't comprehend, which I don't believe for a minute. You said you went to college. You said and I know that they were pretty lenient on what the requirements were to get into college. But I know that anybody, any college in the world, you had to take some type of entrance exam, which means you had to know what 2 dimensions of. That's 6th grade geometry.
Dan,
you have to know what 2 dimensions are.
Stop insulting me.
I'm not insulting.
You are insulting me.
No, I'm not. I'm stating fact. I'm stating fact. I have not once called you stupid or unintelligent.
You just said they dumbed down the requirements for college so I could get in.
No, I didn't. I said that back then they had to dumb down the requirements. It used to be illiterate people could get into college if they were on a sports team or something like that. That's what I'm talking about. You know, there was a lot of ways to get through getting into college. They don't have that anymore in these days. Okay? If you can't tell 2 dimensions at the end of the 6th grade, okay, you're not going to get into the 7th grade anymore. That's a given. Back when we went through school, okay, it was a lot different. Okay, and I went through school after you, and it was pretty easy. There was people in 5th and 6th grade who couldn't read. All right? But what I'm saying right now is when we went through college, I know that you still wouldn't have gotten into college if you didn't know what 2 dimensions were.
Who said I don't know what 2 dimensions are?
Okay.
You asked for something that was 9 feet long, and you gave me a board that was about 3. How was that supposed to happen?
That's what I'm talking about. That is very simple, very simple. You are cutting the board, okay? You are cutting the board. That was a given. You are cutting the board. You wouldn't need a table saw if you weren't cutting the board, okay? When you cut the board, 1 plus 1 equals 2. 2 plus 2 equals 4. 4 plus 4 equals 8. 8 plus 1 equals 9. Wow, all of a sudden we're at 9.
So you're going to
Aren't
make that
we?
many splinters of the board in order to get 9 feet. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, that's pretty simple.
You know that? When I ask questions, I don't expect to get the same answer over and over. I expect to get some new information
Okay,
that
but
would help me understand something.
Well, maybe you should quit asking the questions and just accept the fact that you're not going to give up. Because the answers I give you are the simplest there is around.
Okay. And you
Okay,
don't want
this-
stuff done if you don't get it done the way you want it right off
Exactly,
the bat.
exactly.
Well, that doesn't help matters any.
I told you that. I told you that in that meeting.
And so
I'm
nothing
not, it's
either.
my money,
That's right.
it's my time, it's my house, it's my lumber. If you don't want to do it, tell me don't do it. Okay? I said that the day one you first walked in here. I said it in that meeting. I've said it to every single person who's ever walked in this house that's supposedly giving me help. Okay? Now, we are done with the lumber conversation. I will say again, the problem is the medical. Okay? The problem is that you consistently keep coming in here and want to argue. Instead of admitting you're wrong, you just want to come in here and argue.
No, I
You
don't.
do. You do.
No, I
You're
don't.
arguing right now about
well,
arguing.
I made a
Okay.
mistake about what was going to
No.
fit into the van.
Susan,
I made a
You-
mistake once
okay?
on the
No,
pills.
you didn't make a mistake once. You've been making mistakes
Okay, do
regularly.
you want me to
since-
leave, Dan?
No,
Is that
no,
it?
no. This is going somewhere totally different. Okay. Can you have me my nitro? Can you grab my nitro?
Sure.
It's in the little compartment on the end of that table.
Color?
I don't know what color it is. It's a pill bottle. It's a fucking pill bottle.
No, you got 3 pill bottles. Not that one. This one.
Oh shit. While you're in the kitchen there, can you find the scale that was moved?
Oh, I thought it was still there.
It was there Wednesday morning.
It's here now. Got put under something.
Okay, so here's the problem. It's a pretty simple problem. I've got to make a decision on what to do with. I got somebody that I need their help,
Mm-hmm.
yet they're killing me.
Well, I'm sorry to cause you heart pain.
You're sorry to cause me heart pain.
Yes.
That's a real nice way of dumbing down giving me a heart attack.
What?
I said that's a real nice way of dumbing down giving me a heart attack. Causing my heart to explode. Okay, simplifying. That's a real nice way of simplifying giving me a heart attack. Okay, so I've sat there and I've been going round and round about this for the better part of a week and a half. About just about how to approach this. You know, and I look back at the videotapes.
Videotapes?
Yeah, the videotapes of all our interactions we've had in this house.
You videotape things?
Oh yeah. Wave right now and look at the upper right hand corner of the TV screen.
Okay.
Wave. Just wave.
So that you keep somewhere in your computer?
No, actually that's going right now, that's going out live over YouTube.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. This whole everything that's happening in here is so everybody in the world now knows about this whole conversation we've had. Unfortunately, I was doing it, I was recording my game broadcast, but you just happen to walk in. That one there is getting recorded, but that gets recorded live off stream, off site.
So if you were going to be gone, all you'd have to do is leave all that stuff on and
It is
record
on.
anybody coming in the house.
It's on 24/7.
But you were talking about being gone.
When did I say anything about being gone?
Oh, last week.
Oh, okay. I don't remember the conversation. I ain't gonna say it didn't happen, but I don't remember. But anyways, yeah, me and Jackie put cameras in. You know, we let Kim know at the county we were doing it back before your meeting here. And she was informed she was told to inform any person she sends out here that there is cameras, security cameras on site.
This is the first I've heard of it.
Oh, well, you're gonna have to talk to them about their ability to inform you of your situation. But anyways, regardless, like I said, I've been sitting here for a week and a half pondering this and looking over some of this stuff. And I enjoy our drives. I've said that before. I love going out and driving in the community with you. But having a conversation with you is killing me. It is literally killing me. You know, you sat there. Why you moved that scale on Wednesday, I don't know. I couldn't figure out where you put it. Okay, that scale is some that they use to tell me on just how bad my health is getting. And I need to be on it every single day, taking readings. You know this too, because you have had the paperwork from the doctor in your hands, reading it, saying this.
I'm sorry it got moved. I didn't know it had until you said, where is it?
Well, it was there Wednesday morning.
And
Because the video showed me getting on and taking my measurement Wednesday morning.
I didn't
Okay,
say
when
that I didn't
when
move
I got
it.
on there Thursday, when I went to get on there Thursday, it wasn't there.
It was behind the paper bag.
Like I said, I couldn't figure out where it went to. Okay,
The paper bag usually sits behind it.
so that does me no good when I need to figure out why and if I'm gaining weight and if I'm retaining water and if I need to call the doctor to get, or if I need to get an ambulance to go to the hospital.
I agree.
Okay, that does me no good at all.
Like I said, I didn't know I'd moved it.
Okay, so how do we avoid that again? If you literally don't know what your own actions are, how do I avoid screw-ups from them?
I don't remember everything I've ever said or done in my life. No, I don't even
Okay,
remember what I said last
but-
week.
You honestly, at the time, you took and you moved the scale. You physically did that. That was a conscious thought. Okay? How do I stop those from happening?
I don't know.
I mean, do I feed you lead paint so you can't think anymore?
No, you get somebody else.
Okay. That throws the other side of the wrench. That's the problem. Okay. I don't know if there is somebody else. The only thing I can come up with is that you need to sit down with your boss, and you needed to tell her just how bad you're screwing up out here. Okay, that you do not have. I'm not saying that that's okay. You may work great in 99% of the positions you do, things you do. Okay, but out here, unfortunately, it's just with my health situation. I can't have the stress from the arguments. I can't have medical devices disappearing on me. All right? I can't have to sit, I don't have the ability to sit there and deal with somebody that I have to explain to 2 times, let alone 3 and 4 times, and argue with them in a supermarket. And yet I still got to get to the supermarket. Okay?
I don't know.
I still got to get to Braden. So I need a driver. And we sat there. All this was explained to you in the last meeting. Okay? Now, if you would prefer me to link this to Morgan, this video to Morgan, so that she can sit there and watch it, I'm happy to do that. But I think it would be much better if you went to her and talked to her on your own and said you just don't have the ability to function in this setting. Or phrase it any way you want. Okay?
If you think I'm not capable of being here, then
I don't
let's do that.
I don't think you're capable of having a conversation with me without pissing me off.
Well,
And that is the biggest part. I also don't think you're capable of following my instructions. Okay? And those two right there make it inappropriate for me to have you do anything inside this house. The only thing you would be able to do then is drive. And since you can't follow my instructions when driving, that makes it really hard to do that.
Why can't I follow your instructions?
I don't
driving?
know. I don't know why you can't.
I didn't know I hadn't.
Okay. Then why did we have to leave Aiken early? Okay? Because you got all these instructions that you insisted on having. I think we had like 3 or 4 conversations prior to that trip. And I ended up still walking out of the Aiken grocery store because I knew I was going to be, if I stayed in there one more minute, I was going to be dead with a blown up heart just because of you.
Was that because of the pharmacy?
No, that was because of you. That was because of you.
I can't remember the conversation that we were at.
The multiple conversations. Susan, we're going into the pharmacy so that I can walk up and physically give them verbal instructions that you will have access to my debit card. We get in there. There's nobody there. Susan, did you know there's nobody here? Oh, yeah, they never staff anybody here. That was your exact words. Oh, yeah, they never, and I
never said that because I didn't know that. I've never been in the pharmacy before.
I threw up my hands and walked out of the pharmacy. I was so fucking pissed off.
There was a guy standing behind the shelf.
I didn't see anybody in there. Okay, I was looking right at the counter, right at where the person's supposed to stand that you're supposed to talk to. Okay? I told you what the direction was, why we were going in there, why we were needing to do that. Okay? Not only did you totally blindside me when your exact words, oh, they never have anybody in this part.
I couldn't say that because I've never been in that part before.
Well, then you lied to me about it. Then you blatantly lied to me about it. Because those were your exact words. I remember they burned into my brain. It's like you took a laser and burned that right into my brain. I was so pissed off. You knew the problems we were having with the pharmacies, with the other pharmacies in town. You knew that was exactly why. 100% why. And I'm almost certain I asked you if they had somebody in there on staff before we even went in there. I wanted to verify that. Okay? Then we went into the grocery store. I'm struggling. I'm fucking struggling. I'm ready to collapse onto my knees. I am so pissed off and so weak. Okay? And All's what you want to do is give me misdirection, send me down the wrong fucking aisle. You know, and ravioli was a breaking stone. I wanted to go over to the ravioli aisle and get the fucking ravioli, and you told me to go down the pasta aisle. Okay. All's what I could do. I mean, I almost told you to fuck off right there. I'll walk home. I almost told you to fuck off right there. I'll walk home. I remember, and as all I could do to keep my mouth shut. And I says, the only way I'm going to prove this to her, just how bad she's screwing up, is if I go down that damn aisle. I walked down that aisle. We got down there, and you turned around to me and you looked and you said, I don't understand. It's not here. But it didn't say ravioli on the sign. It said something else. But you had to go down that aisle. And it's Paulbeck's. You've lived in this town, in this community, for what, 20 years? You can't tell me you haven't been in that store.
No, they changed it in the last 2 years.
Okay, you can't tell me you haven't been in there at least 50 times in the past 2 years. And you couldn't figure that out. Okay, you did that intentionally. You intentionally led me down the wrong aisle. And when we got over to the next aisle, to where the pasta was, where I wanted to go in the first place, I sat down in my walker and I looked at you and I says, oh, look here. Look here. This is what I did. I said, look here. I pointed to it right on the shelf. Right, exactly. In the past 2 years, I've been in that store maybe 2 or 3 times, and I knew exactly where it was.
I'm glad you did.
All right? So why did you argue with me about it? Why did you even form an opinion? Why did you have to say anything about it?
Why do I have an opinion at all, Dan? I should be a robot.
Yeah, clearly in this situation you should. Okay? Now, all that being said and done, I've told you what it's doing to my heart. I've told you what it's doing to pissing me off and stressing me out. Okay? I don't have a solution for this problem. This one you can offer an opinion about. What do you think should happen? If you were in my shoes, saying you spent many, many years working as a social worker, and you had somebody who's supposed to be providing care, I honestly don't even know you're supposed to be doing this stuff, because your company has not gotten me a job description yet. Okay? What would you do? I need transportation here. My life, my overall quality of life has improved since you come on. Okay? But my health is going downhill.
How can you say both of those things?
Because my quality of life is different than my health. Okay? Last year I never got into that nitro once. And twice since you've been here now, I've gotten in, well, 3 times. This would be the 3rd time today. I've had to take nitro. And all 3 times it's been directly while you've been here or after you've left. So you are clearly causing enough stress to my heart to create pains in it that I'm not getting from any other source. Okay, what do I do about this situation? My quality of life is getting better. I mean, I'm getting things done around the property, around the house. I am. Okay? But is it worth having a heart attack for? What, in your professional opinion, you were a social worker, what would you do about something like this?
Talk to the staff person, I guess, and see what they're able or willing to do, if that would make a difference.
How do I go about doing that?
You know, the hard part, Dan, is that you expect me to do, to basically jump when you say jump. That's not what I've been doing with the other people that I work with or have worked with in my lifetime.
Okay, so
it has required thinking and processing and coming up with options And that's not what you want. That's the part that's the difficulty, is because my style and your style don't match.
Bingo. So, what's the solution?
I will have to ask Morgan if she has some other options.
Clear.
I mean, clearly Kim hasn't been able to find anybody.
Kim is not even trying. Okay, she got threatened with a lawsuit over what's happened out here. That's the only reason you're even here now. Is she got threatened with, well, not a lawsuit. She got threatened with getting reported to whatever the governing agency is that you know, that handles cases against vulnerable adults. You know, and I'm not sure that that's not going to happen anyways. You know, because this is not, like I said, this is on YouTube now. You know, and so much of it's gone up. They're trying to, this has gone from back in February when it was all my fault to all of a sudden all these records that I've been keeping over the years coming out, and well, it's pretty easy to stack on top of a mound, but all of a sudden when you find that the foundation for that mound is bullshit, the whole mound comes crumbling down, and all of a sudden now these people are starting to run and scramble and say, hey, wait a minute, you know, what do we do about this and that? That's why I'm giving you the option of talking this over with your staff, because honestly, Susan, the only solution I've got is that you stay on as a driver, you know, until they can find a replacement for you. You know, I don't think that you're a stupid person. I don't think that you have the ability to work in this situation. And that's exactly what you just said. You phrase it different than I do, but it's exactly what you just said, too. You don't think you have the ability to function because you want to interject opinions and stuff like that. Well, I've already got all the opinions that anybody needs to have about the situation. I told Kim before you were even brought into the equation, I says, Kim, I really think we need to get somebody who's young, I mean, like 20 years old, who hasn't had a chance to work in a professional field yet and form a set path, because I am a very eccentric. All right? I can scope them out to do the things that I need done. The things I need done are not atypical. They're not normal. Okay? That don't make them wrong at all. It makes them very right. Because I've spent hours and hours thinking out and saying, wait a minute. It's fucking stupid to be insane. Okay? Beating your head against the wall over and over again, expecting different results, expecting it's not going to hurt. That's insanity. Okay? And that is what 99% of the people in this world want to do. And I'm not going to do it. Okay? I know that there's very few people out there that are as intelligent as I am. All right? But I also know that I try and make these explanations of what needs to be done as simple as possible. 2 + 2 = 4. If you can't comprehend that, if you got to add shit into it and interject stuff and figure out, well, what the 4 is, there's something wrong with you. Okay? But you're entitled to live your life that way and be that type of person. Okay? But the simple problem it was 2 + 2 = 4. Okay? So you take 2 of one item, any item in the world, 2 of another item, any item in the world, and you put them together and you get 4 of any item in the world. What the item is just doesn't fucking matter. It wasn't part of the problem. It isn't part of the solution. It's the quantity that is the solution. You know, the explanation is simple. Take 2 and 2 and add 4. Add it together and get 4. That's the explanation. It's simple. I've done all that thinking. I don't need another opinion. and I don't have the ability to function with somebody who wants to start giving me opinions that I don't need. Okay?
Okay.
And that's why I'm saying, I mean, honestly, I'm not being insulting. I'm not saying, everybody's entitled to their opinion. But I'm also entitled to not listen to it.
You don't want to even hear it, so.
I don't want to hear it. I told you that in that meeting. You know, what's your boss says, well, isn't that a little one-sided? And I says, yeah. I don't care. It is. It's one-sided. But it's my side, so, and everything about this has to do with me. It's mine. So it really doesn't matter if it's one-sided, because it's my side.
It's your life.
You know. And Susan, I'm gonna say something here, and it's not meant to be racist at all. But it'd be if you think I'm wrong with that, then you need to know I'm a purist, and I'm not interjecting my opinion on you at all, because my opinion doesn't matter in that situation. If you think that you have as much of a right to add your opinion into my life as I have, then I have that same amount of right to add my opinion into your life.
Okay.
And being as a purist, that would make your marriage wrong. Okay?
Okay. But if you were really a purist, then divorce would be wrong.
No. No, a purist. Well, I'm speaking of purist as to race, not as into biblical. I don't believe in interracial marriage. I don't. I think it's because and you know, I don't even have to you know why I think that way doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter, but I have relatives who also thought the same way.
Yeah. I mean, I got a niece that I love dearly, who's the result of an interracial marriage. You know, or not, they weren't married. That doesn't change the fact that I love Jasmine. You know, that right there, you know, that whole situation is probably the biggest thing that hit me in the face, that told me that taught me that everybody's got a right to live their life the way they want to live it. Okay? And nobody has a right to interject their opinion on that life. Right? That's why I've never said anything to you about that. You know, just try and keep my opinion to myself. But on the other hand, on the flip side of that coin, that's the view you need to take when you're dealing with my life. Okay? Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And that's
so
why,
essentially, if you say this and I don't understand it, I'm not supposed to ask anything because it's the way it's going to be, whatever it is.
yeah, exactly. If you need to relay a message for me, you need to relay what I say, not what your opinion about it is.
Well, then it would be good to get it written down because then I would have exact words.
Yep.
I don't think you had my exact words, but I'm hardly the one to say.
So, anyways, that's what, getting back to that conversation with Kim. Mm-hmm. That's why I told Kim I think it's somebody, we were actually talking about nurses at the time. We weren't talking about your position. But I specifically said I think I needed somebody who's really out of medical school, who's not been trained with all the bad habits of society. Right now.
Okay, which you're saying that the nurse you had, because she'd been around a while.
Oh yeah, she was trained to not allow any other agency in here but her own. regardless of what care I needed. And I mean, literally, you know, we went through 2 years without Jackie because she was trained or told or something that I was not supposed to have another health agency like that in here unless it came through Mille Lacs Healthcare.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
she admitted there was a meeting between me and her and Kim, in which I brought up again trying to get somebody in here, and Kim says, "Well, what about an arms worker?" And I says, "Well, what's that?" And what's her name? The nurse interjected and gave me this big old explanation about what an arms worker is. And I looked at her and I says, "You mean you know about this?" She says, "Oh yeah, I had dealings with them a couple years ago." And I says, "So for the 2 years I've been asking about getting somebody in here, you've known about this, and you didn't tell me about it?" She says, "Well, I didn't like them."
Oh,
That was her exact words. "Well, I didn't like them." Now, how do you react to something like that? Okay, we
how many
later.
did she have experience with, or was it only one person?
I don't know. We never went any further with that. I think Kim was a little shocked too, and Kim says, "Well, that's when she said she was going to get Jackie's agency in here, and she sent them out, and at first they said they couldn't do anything with me, and then I asked the gal, I says, well, why'd you even come out here? Because I mean, all the questions she asked me were all simple questions like age, you know, medical history and stuff, and I said, it was all stuff she knew prior to walking in the door out here.
Okay.
And she says, I don't think, and I says, well, why did you come out here then? He says, I don't know. I mean, we provide mental health stuff. And I says, well, didn't Kim tell you that's what I needed? And she says, yeah. And I says, you have yet to ask me anything about my mental health. And she just kind of shut up and she's, well, I know this one person who maybe she'll fit. And they sent Jackie out here. And Jackie's I gather, is kind of a black sheep in her agency.
She does a lot more stuff than most of the arms
She
workers, I know.
fit in perfect out here. We hit it off like crazy.
Good.
You know, and 3 meetings after she was here, that nurse was fired. You know, I blatantly threw her right out of the house. You know, that's when we started putting 2 and 2 together and finding out she was doing things like substituting meds that I wasn't supposed to be getting. You know, literally changing, not prescription meds, but things like the Tylenol and the aspirin.
Like
That
a generic version or something?
no. Okay. She wanted me to take a baby aspirin once a day.
Okay.
Okay, and at the time, I wasn't taking 5 pills I take right now. I was taking, I think I was prescribed to take 17,
Wow.
and we found 22 in the pill container. So there's 5 pills in there that weren't even part of my prescribed drugs. You know, and I just know the baby aspirin because that's the one I argued with her a lot about. You know, I could taste that when she slipped it in there. The stomach med, that stomach pill that I got over on that table there,
Okay.
the prescription from 2017, she kept putting that in my pill container. You know, at the time I had like 5 bottles of them. You know, and now I'm down to 1. I didn't even realize it. That dish there was full of fucking pill bottles long before you started.
Huh.
You know, and Jackie, unfortunately, Jackie couldn't. She can't do the meds, but she was able to help me with like reading the dates and things like that.
Okay.
You know, to get some organization on it. So, anyways, yeah, we found that out, and then the physical therapy. You know, I'm supposed to have physical therapy in here.
Out here.
Yeah. Yeah, and we've just been kind of hesitating to get another nurse in here. That and the last time we approached it, I was not feeling anywhere as mobile as I am right now. So I didn't have a whole lot of interest in going through a lot of struggles with physical therapy, especially when you think you're dying in a couple of months. There's no reason to try and get physical again. You know? But transportation to doctor's appointments? I'm willing to bet you if we asked her about your agency, she would say, yeah, I know about them. And yet, she knew that was another problem I really had, is I couldn't get to the doctor. You know, what good is it to make a doctor's appointment when you can't get to the doctor?
Right, Jackie couldn't take you. Yeah, that's why she had some other.
She didn't start until it was late January, early February this year. We're talking clear back last year. Okay, that was when I only had the nurse in here.
Oh, okay.
She was the only, and when she first started here, she worked here for 3 years, I think. She was my nurse. I really trusted her. You know, I really thought she was. We'd been through a whole strip of bad nurses. You know, once it didn't even last 15 minutes in here.
Mm-hmm.
Just complete fucking idiots. You know, and I'm being generous on that fucking that comment. You know, they. Anyways, we got her in here, and I really trusted her. I actually gave her access to my bank accounts.
Mm.
You know, and just to find out that that's what she was doing. You know, and I can't picture, because, I mean, looking back at a lot of our conversations, we spent sometimes the whole visit here just roaring with laughter. You know. And I can't picture there not being some kind of a friendship built. So I can't see her intentionally trying to harm me. That's why I say I think it's training. It's training she received, that she was told that this is the way it's supposed to be. And it's fucked up. You know, especially in a healthcare environment. You know? Either that or she's motivated by profits. You know, maybe they had some kind of profit sharing where if she sold the service through their agency that she got a kickback or something. It hadn't been one or the other.
You're talking about Mille Lacs.
Yeah. I cannot see it being anything besides one or the other. Because if it was personal, if she was trying to do it to harm me, then that woman needs to, I mean, she needs her license taken.
Hmm.
Anyways, I know that if you explain the situation to Morgan, and I think it'd be a lot more relaxed environment, easier for you to explain it to her if you actually went in and sat down with her and told her this is a situation that if she were to hire some kid from the fucking local school, that they would just be a lot better fit. I honestly, I don't see, like I said, Susan, I think you probably are a really good person to do good work. You just, I mean, you even said it. I'm glad you said that too. It makes me feel a lot more relaxed. Oh crap, I'm supposed to be streaming this stuff. I'm not even streaming it. So when you were doing social work, did you ever work for the VA?
No.
How was that turkey breast?
That's the next thing. Haven't gotten to.
Oh, you didn't try it yet?
No, because we had chicken and ham.
I would just give it to the dogs then.
Why?
There may be an issue with it. I think I fucked up with that thermometer.
You think you got sick?
No, I didn't get sick. Was actually two things. I went back and I looked at some of those videos,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of the videos they were taking, they were wrapping the legs, where the bones stick out of the legs,
Mm-hmm.
they were wrapping them in foil.
Okay.
Okay. And I didn't find any explanation, but they just, for some reason, it looked like socks on the turkey legs.
Okay.
Just the lower parts, not. Anyways, when I put the thermometer in, I put it from the top down. Okay, and Sam, that one cooking show guy, he he said put it in from the side, and that's all he said. Just put it in from the side. I was like, well, why the fuck would that matter? But he never gave an explanation. And I kind of fell into your category. I was like, You
No
know,
explanation, so how do you know what to do?
yeah. But then I went back and I was watching that other video from that guy who was the other one. I don't think I showed you that. I think I showed Jackie that one. I didn't show you that one. It talks about making it a point to get to a specific spot in the meat. And when he said that, then it hit me. I might have pushed that thermometer all the way through the meat, and we actually were measuring the pan.
Or you could have been measuring the bone.
No, there wasn't no bone there.
Okay.
I,
That was one thing we were worrying about with the ham.
you know, I'm wondering, because I don't know if you remember my comments. I was really shocked that it was the readings we were getting saying overdone.
Okay.
You know, and even when I was eating on the leg, I says, you know, this leg, you know, it's tasted great, but you know, the texture wasn't like it was cooked all the way. And what I come to find out is, with those leg bones exposed off the sides of the pan, it was literally nuking those parts of the leg bones. So that's what gave you the look that it was done. And then if I pushed that thermometer all the way through, then it might not have been done. I don't know. I mean, maybe that was right. Maybe it is fine. I'm really curious if you take and cut it before you give it to your dogs, but I wouldn't eat it.
Okay.
I would just give it to the dogs. I'm really curious though to see how juicy it is. You know, because I've never done a turkey that way before. And that was the other thing, is the pop-up never came up on it.
Oh, really?
No, it never did. You got it, it's still in the breast there. You got it at home. It wasn't up. But here's another thing about those pop-ups. I knew that they were very accurate, extremely accurate. What I didn't know was that they can be set for different temperatures. You know, they can be set all the way from 157 all the way up to 180 degrees. Okay, and depending on the type of turkey you got, and there's no way of looking at it and telling what the temperature it's set for is. All's what you know is that whatever that temperature is, it's going to pop up at that temperature. There's like 100% chance of it popping up at that temperature. It's just, there may only be a 10% chance it's the temperature you want. You know, and I can see where they'd overset that. You know, if it's supposed to be 165 as your finished temperature, I could see where the turkey company is going to set it right at 165 or even 170. You know, just to cover their asses. They don't care. Once the turkey's sold, they don't care what happens to it.
How does that make the pop-up work?
I'm going to be speculating. I'm probably right, but there's different chemicals. When you add different chemicals into a recipe, you get different reactions to it. Okay, and almost all reactions are based on time or temperature. Time, temperature, or frequency, one of those three. Okay, and so if you got one plastic that expands so much at X amount of temperature, and you got another plastic that's locked into it, and it expands at a lot less temperature, all what you got to do is put a spring underneath it. The outer plastic expands, and once it hits that specific temperature, all of a sudden it's not locked in the inner plastic, and the inner plastic shoots up.
Okay.
Okay? It's something like that. You know, the chemical makeup, I have no idea what it is. I honestly, I couldn't tell you. But I do know that you take, for instance, ABS and PVC. You know what those are, right?
Yep.
Okay. ABS, you take it and you lay it out in the sun, a piece of ABS pipe out in the sun. You come back, you're going to have a horseshoe. All right? And that's literally because the temperature of the sun is going to warm up one side of it and cause it to expand so much faster than the other side of the pipe that's in the shade. It's going to make that plastic bend around in a horseshoe. I mean, I'm not shitting you. It can literally, if you take a 100-degree temperature difference on ABS from the sun, on the day, like out in the desert, you know, where it can go from 30 degrees at night to 130 in the day. If you lay a piece of 3-inch ABS pipe out in the sun, out there where the sun can hit it fully on the one side, you come back the next day and you will have a horseshoe. All right. Now you take the same piece, same length of pipe in 3-inch size in PVC. You throw it out there in the sun, you leave it, you come back 6 months later, there won't be a bit of bend in it. Okay, and that's because the temperature is affected differently.
You said you didn't go to college.
No, I didn't need to.
It seems like you understand a lot of stuff that you would have learned in college.
I got an IQ of 147,
Okay. A little more than mine.
and a little more than most people. All right, and that was tested when I was hungover, by the way. Yeah, when I took my GED, I was with the top 10 highest in the state that year that I took my GED.
And what's that?
General education diploma. I had to take it when
GED. I didn't hear what you said.
I had to take it when I was in the military. I was over in Korea, but they still based it off of Minnesota state results of the, I think it was 17,000 people who or something like that who took it that year. I was one of the 10 highest finishers.
Okay.
Okay. When I took the ASVAB to go in the Army, I scored in the top 10% of the whole country for taking the ASVAB. When I quit working for Flo and tried to get unemployment here 5 years ago, you know, they make you go over to Brainerd and go through this class to get unemployment.
Okay.
Well, they have a test that they give you in there. Test your it's supposed to tell you what kind of occupations that you'd be good at.
By an IQ test?
No, it's not an IQ test. It's a test. It's a federally governed test that tells you what kind of occupations you would be good at. You know, like drivers, mechanic, doctor. Okay. I didn't know anything about this test coming out. I literally went over there. They blindsided me on this test. I was not awake. It was given at 7 o'clock in the morning in Brainerd. You know, I stopped at Starbucks or one of those places and bought a bag of chocolate-covered espresso beans and a triple shot espresso just to wake me up so I could go in to meet with these people. I thought I was just meeting some people and they're going to ask me some questions and sit down and get this test done. They give me this test. There was probably 50 of us in that classroom, and I sat down, and from what I understand, it was basically the same test that the college entrance exams are based on. You know, it's all association. Okay, they give you 6 pictures and each picture will, or actually, they give you 6 objects in a picture, and then they give you 3 different pictures, and there'll be different variants of the objects, and you got to describe in a mirror plaque of that what this corresponding picture would be.
Okay.
Okay, it was tests like that, code breaking tests, math word problems, things like that. And believe me, if you want to talk about something that fucks up my head, it's math word problems. I hate those worst of all. Anyways, we had 2 hours to do the test, and I was done with it in like 20 minutes.
They probably thought you just faked it, right?
Yeah, well, here's the thing though, is they scored the test right there and told you your results. Okay, and out of 100%, I got 89%.
Wow.
Okay, and
They couldn't blame that on anything.
no, and I'm sitting there, and there was 4 parts to the test. Okay, I remember that there was 4 parts to the test. This is 5 years ago. I remember one was word problems, one was picture association, one was like algebra and geometry and stuff like that, and I want to say the 4th one was crypto. But anyways, like I said, I was done in 20 minutes. And I had to sit there for about 15 minutes while the guy scored the test and got the results for me. And nobody else came up to turn in their test. And then as I was heading out the door, this girl, the only reason I remember her is she was cute as hell. She got up and she went and turned her test in. But anyways, I get just outside the door, and the guy who was scoring my test, he stops me, and he says, "Can I talk to you for a minute?" And I says, "Yeah. Is there something wrong?" And he said, No, there's nothing wrong." He says, "I've been doing this for 4 years, and I've never seen anybody score as high as you have." Okay. And then he says, "I've never seen anybody turn the test in less than a half hour." All right, like I said, I've been there about 15 minutes after taking the test, waiting for him to score. So that gal came up in like 35 minutes. As I was going to call him right out on that. I says, "Well, that gal just walked up there, and then it dawned on me." He says, "If you went and studied for this, you'd probably be in that 90% range. Okay, and you can come," and he told me, he says, "You can come back and you can take this."
If you want to see if you can get that high.
Okay, yeah, but now here's the thing. Okay, colleges like MIT and Caltech, and Berkeley and stuff, they got headhunters out there looking for people who can actually score that high on this test. And he got to telling me about, he says, to be like a brain surgeon or a nuclear physicist or something like that, that's where you got to score on these tests.
Okay.
You can go to college for those professions. But to get a job in the best spots, he says, that's what you need to do. And he's sitting there, he's telling me, he says, he's telling me my potential.
Right.
And all what I'm thinking is, God, I need another cup of coffee.
Right, this can't be real, right?
Yeah. I mean, I know I am fucking smart. I know I am so smart. I wish somebody would told me this back when I was in grade school.
But when you got done with that test, what did you end up doing?
I didn't do anything. I went and got another cup of coffee.
Well, but you went into plumbing.
No, this is 5 years ago.
Oh, sorry, I missed that.
Said that. I said like 2, 3 times. This is 5 years ago. This is when I quit working for Flo because my health was getting so bad. I didn't feel like I could continue to maintain my job.
Right.
You know, I offered Flo. I says, Flo, you know, I'm willing to cut down to 2 days a week, but I can't keep going where I'm going. You know, I mean, I would show up for work usually a half hour to an hour early. I would start slamming those energy drinks. I would probably drink 3 to 4 of them before lunchtime.
And that was what was keeping you going?
That was giving me the energy to keep me going through the day.
Oh.
On top of that, though, I was eating a 500 bottle of ibuprofen every 2 weeks. You know, to kill the pain. You know, and there was nights I'd come back here and I just couldn't move, you know. It's that night. I didn't like the work schedule either. I didn't, you know. When I ran my own plumbing business, I usually started at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. It was either I was starting at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, or I was going to bed at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
One or the other. You know, I hated that showing. I mean, 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning, the day's half fucking over. And sitting there, oh, Susan, you want to talk about bad? This is how bad my mind is. I can't get it to shut up. You know, it's constantly going here and there. When we're sitting here having a conversation, I've got like 3 others going on in my head.
Oh, really?
Yeah, literally. I mean, back when I was working, it was really bad. It's not so much anymore because the oxygen. I think the oxygen content now is slowing down my deductive reasoning. You know, the synapses aren't firing as fast as they usually would.
Okay.
And age is taking its toll too. I get a lot more stuff wrong now than I did back, you know, even 5 years ago.
Okay. So that's why you need somebody who's 20?
No, I need somebody who's 20 because I can train them then.
Okay.
I've said that. I need somebody I can train, not somebody who's set in their ways.
Or has losing some of their marbles, right?
I never said you're losing your
No,
marbles.
but I'm older than you are.
Yeah. But you may be older than me in years, but I'm almost certain in what I put my body through and my mind through, I'm a hell of a lot older than you.
Okay.
You know,
I'll buy
I
that.
mean, the knowledge that I have in my head, if you just assign a time frame to the knowledge that I've amassed over the years, there's no way you can even come close to what I've done. You could spend the next 20 years trying to get knowledge, and you wouldn't
It's
be able
okay. I'm not trying. I'm not trying to get anywhere further than I am.
Yeah, and when I say, and here's another thing. You know what the difference is between knowledge and wisdom?
What you know and knowing what to do with it.
Exactly.
Okay.
You know, now that's something a lot of people don't know. They don't, you know. Now, do you know what the difference is between having knowledge and the ability to obtain knowledge is?
The process.
No. If you have knowledge, you're normal. If you don't have the ability to obtain knowledge, you're stupid.
Okay. You're lower income. I mean lower IQ.
Yeah, lower income is right.
That's true too. Very sure.
Okay.
I got to ask you a question.
Yeah.
Unrelated.
Okay.
I found these.
Well,
I broke your plates.
don't worry, I'm not.
These are Melmac, so they're not
I
breakable.
don't.
You don't want them.
No, I mentioned that to my sister stopped by to check on me
That's nice.
Saturday. No, she was wanting to know if she's gonna be able to mooch any money off me after Ma died. And yeah, nice fucking sister, huh?
Well, if
Yeah.
she needs money, I suppose that's the way it goes.
My mom ain't even been dead a week yet.
Oh, wait. You're not talking recently.
Yeah, my mom died Wednesday morning.
Oh, I didn't know that. I'm sorry.
I know, I didn't want to mess up the dinner. Yeah, I called her Tuesday. Actually, my daughter called me Tuesday to call me a piece of shit. Wish me a happy Thanksgiving, call me a piece of shit.
Why did she bother?
No, literally, call me, tell me I'm a piece of shit. And during that conversation, which believe me was very short, she happened to let me know that Mom had a stroke, which was interesting because she also let me know that I never contacted my mom, and I tried to call her about 3 hours earlier that day.
So why would your daughter, who doesn't have contact with you, have contact with your mother? That's kind of interesting.
Yeah, I'm not getting into that conversation.
Okay, sorry.
So Wednesday morning, before you even got there, got here, about 5 minutes to 10. I tried calling her again. I left a message on her phone, and she passed away at 10 o'clock.
Wow. Timing.
Yeah. I was going to call you and tell you not to come, but it was already so late today.
Well, you had a lot of
I mean,
plans.
the turkey was in the oven and shit.
You had a lot of plans.
I didn't know what to do. I didn't. But
I would have come anyway. If you wanted me to.
no, I didn't want to do much at all
Okay.
then.
You did a good example of somebody who wasn't concerned about anything like that. Wouldn't have had a clue.
Anyways, yeah, my sister showed up Saturday, wanted to find out if I got my inheritance yet, if she could borrow some money.
Well, was it her inheritance too?
No, she not even the same mother.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
No.
She figured she really would mooch off of you that had nothing at all to do with.
No, it's the first time. It's the first time I seen her in over a year.
Your sister?
Yeah.
Oh. Doesn't she come around? That's Jazz's mom, right?
Yep. She don't come around this house.
Oh. Gotcha.
I told you what my family's opinion is of me.
Yeah.
And I'm perfectly happy with that. So anyways, regarding Thursday. Okay.
Last Thursday.
This Thursday, this coming
This
Thursday.
What's this Thursday?
Well, that's your normal day you usually come.
No. I've been coming on Mondays.
You've been coming twice a week. Okay? You normally been coming twice a week. And originally it was set up as Monday and Thursday. What are you doing in there?
I've just done the dishes.
Why? This is what I'm talking about. Oh my God.
Why?
There was no dishes to do.
There was lots of stuff that could be washed.
Okay. All the water we've got for the winter is in those bags. That's got to last all winter. I've repeatedly told you that. We don't do dishes when we feel like it. We do dishes once a month or once every 2 months.
Okay.
There's not enough dishes to wash.
But I don't have the opinion that I'm necessarily going to be back here, so
Okay.
I was just trying to take care of the things that I could. The only reason I'd be back here is if I brought the board back, and if you want me to take the recycling and I bring the tote back.
Okay.
Because I don't get the impression you want me back, so.
Susan,
Yes, sir.
listen here. Okay. Sit down and listen.
1 minute.
Because you're already giving me opinions here. And we just went through this whole long conversation about opinions.
Well, at some point I do have to have an opinion,
Okay.
right?
Okay. Your opinion was that you needed to wash the dishes after I'd already instructed you that we save water in this house because we have a very limited source of it for the winter.
So you don't have to worry about dishes for the next who knows when.
Yeah,
'Cause after
I
that,
know.
you're probably only using paper.
Okay. Sit
Do I
down.
have to ask your opinion of everything that I might think needs to be done?
No.
Okay.
What you need to do is not give me yours. Which means that you don't have any idea of what needs to be done. That's what I'm trying to tell you. You don't know what you're doing here.
You told me the things I needed to do, and I've tried to keep very clear track of them.
Okay.
Take care of the cat stuff, water the plants, make sure the meds are done, and the juice.
Yes. Does it say dishes on that list?
No, it doesn't, but they were piling up. Sorry.
That's what I'm saying. Okay? That's a prime
I
example.
had an
right
opinion, yes,
there. Okay?
that they needed to be washed. Okay, they're
Now,
done. Don't worry about it.
Anyways, either late Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, any one of those. I've got some boxes of tools to pick up and a bandsaw. Preferably pick up a bandsaw.
Is this on one of these?
You don't need to know that. Okay? I'm telling you what you need to know. I'm even going to tell you why you need to know it. Okay? Now, I'm assuming that your husband had an upright bandsaw.
I don't know, because I don't know what a bandsaw looks like.
Okay? I don't have a picture of one for you. But somebody around your household should be able to tell you this is a bandsaw. Okay, this is what it looks like. All right? Now, where we got to get it from is a long, narrow path. Okay? There is no room to turn around on it. And it requires getting in there, and you have to go around a corner and thread through some tight obstacles. Okay? So, if you feel that you have to have a trailer to help me get this stuff, it's got to be a small-ass trailer.
If I can't turn around in something and there's not going to be an easy way to get out, I'm probably not the one to drive.
Okay? then I'll drive. You know, bring your own vehicle, I'll drive it in. I mean, I got no problems. I've backed in and out of this place millions of times. But it is a lot harder. It's further, it's probably 200, 250 feet. And you gotta literally back in and go around a corner, a blind corner. And you don't drive in, you back in. You know, if you try and back out, you're gonna end up in the woods. All right, yeah, you don't want that. But anyways, it has to be done Friday afternoon, Saturday or Sunday. And I would think that when you look at the bandsaw, and a bandsaw can lay on its side, all right, you'll realize that it can probably fit in the back of your Exploder or one of those vans.
Well,
Okay,
if it's
the-
involving me, then it's my vehicle because you can't drive an Oak Ridge vehicle.
Okay, the boxes of tools, we're gonna have to box them up, and they are gonna be kinda heavy. Okay, because all the tools are steel, and this is more like, we're not gonna get everything I wanna get out of this place. All right, I'm gonna run out of energy, and I have not been there in 3 years. I honestly don't even know that this stuff is still there. Okay, I will say this though, there's another option too. If you have a small trailer, like a snowmobile trailer, that will fit on the back of your ATV, and you want to bring that over here, that we can probably back up. You know, or I mean, we could probably turn it around there. That's what we used to do. You know, there was enough room to turn around it. We had a garden trailer.
I have a garden trailer,
Yeah.
but I'm not bringing the ATV over here.
Okay. I'm just throwing that out for an option. But a small trailer,
You're saying the stuff wouldn't fit in the SUV?
I think it would. I think it would. I really think the bandsaw would. And the bandsaw is the most bulkiest thing. There is also a radio arm saw and a shaper over there, but I don't think, well, radio arm saw, shaper, a welder, a fucking air compressor, but the weight of those is more than me and you can handle. You know, the shaper's probably 200 pounds.
Well, it sounds like for most of these things, you're gonna need my grandson.
Now, the bandsaw only weighs about 25 or 30 pounds. It's just big. You know, it's all sheet metal, thin sheet metal. It's just big. You know, and, let me put it this way, I hauled it in the back of this SUV here. I had to leave the tailgate down. But I hauled it in the back of this SUV when we moved it from where it is now to where it was. Or where it was to where it is now. But anyways, it has to happen on those days, on one of those days. And I figure the whole process is going to take probably an hour and a half to 2 hours. Okay, now when we get it over here, the bandsaw over here, if we have to, we can leave it outside. But I would really like to get it in the house. The problem is, to do that, we need a furniture dolly, and I don't have a furniture dolly. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I know what a dolly is, I have 2 of them.
Yeah, the little ones with the 4 casters? They got 4 casters on them?
4 wheels, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah. Because then we can leave it over on its side. We can wheel it right up the ramp here, right in the door. You know, it'll come right in the door. I thought long and hard about it. I can't fit. It won't fit in that plastic sled. Okay, the table on it's just. I know the table on it's just going to be a little too wide. The toolboxes, the boxes of tools, those. You know, well, actually, if you got a furniture dolly, you know, you can put those right on wheel those right up, and that's an easier way too. But
Sounds like you need the boy.
And well, what would he want to do something like that?
Hmm?
What? How strong is he?
He weighs probably 300 or more pounds.
Okay, is it muscle or fat?
Some of each. He works in a lumber yard.
Okay. You guys got a cherry picker? I would be willing to hire him. Okay, the problem right now is I don't have any cash until after the 3rd of the month. I'm not sure what the date's gonna be on, like, say, Saturday.
Mm-mm.
But if he wanted a job to come over here and he wanted to give me a price on it to help me move this stuff, because there is a lot there. I would really like to get it all out of there. We just found out that we're losing everything. We're losing the place basically.
Oh, so you got to get stuff out while you can, just like you did before.
Yeah, this is basically my whole wood shop is over there. You know, so a lot of those big tools that your husband has, I have also. Now I'm willing to leave some of them behind, but like that, the welder though, it's God, it's got to weigh 300 pounds, and it's sitting. Well, the bottom of it's about level with my chest.
Hmm.
You know, and it is not on wheels. When I put it where it is, I rigged it to come along off the ceiling and wenched it up into the ceiling, and then set it down on the table, and we skidded the table across the concrete to get it over in the corner. And it's got to be unwired too. And I can explain how to unwire it. I won't be able to unwire it.
Well, actually, he could drive the van once we got here.
Yeah.
Once we got over to wherever it is that needs to be backed in, because he's very good at that.
Yeah, and there may be issues.
Legal issue?
Not legal. I've got all the legal right to go get the stuff.
Okay.
But there's one. This is why it's Friday afternoon, Saturday, or Sunday.
Can't do Friday.
I found out that the person that I'm worried about is going to be gone.
Okay.
Okay.
So we have to be.
They're the ones hoping to get their hands on all my shit.
Oh.
They want to do anything they can, but the fact is that they don't got no legal rights to stop me from going and getting it.
Right.
You know.
I don't know what he's doing. I know we can't do it Friday because he and I have something else scheduled. Saturday I've got something in the afternoon, so it'd have to be morning, or Sunday, whatever at this point.
Yeah. This. I mean, theoretically, we should be able to, if he's strong like that, we could actually get that welder.
Would it fit in the van? Would it fit in my SUV, which is a little bigger than? I can't imagine driving down.
It's not big. It's about. You see the top of the round spot on the cat climber?
Okay.
That's about how tall it is. It's about the same width. You know, the thing is, it's just got. It's a solid block of copper wire inside of it.
Oh.
It's literally a couple of 100 pounds. I can't pick it up.
You said a bandsaw, a radial arm saw, and what else?
Oh yeah, there's a shaper, a compressor, a welder, shop vacs, and tons of hand tools.
Okay, most of those things he would know about because he already has.
The radial arm saw, I'm not bringing that back here.
Oh.
I don't know. If we do, it's going to be the last thing to go.
Okay, might be more than one trip.
Oh yeah, it's definitely, if we go after all this stuff, it's going to be more than one trip. I mean, the bandsaw by itself and a couple of boxes of tools would take up the back of your SUV.
Yeah.
You know, it's the bandsaw is what I need over here.
Okay.
If I had that here now, I could rip that fucking 2x4. You know, and we could just sit there and make the strips.
Well, I will talk to him.
And send me a text message. Let me know what he'd want before he comes over here.
You mean as far as how much money?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you know what the date's gonna be on Monday?
Next Monday?
Yeah.
Sixth?
Okay. Just let him know then that, because I don't wanna blindside him on the money. What I'll do is, if he comes out on Saturday or Sunday and wants to help me, I'm gonna send you home with the debit card. And then you can go into the bank and get the cash out and bring it back here on Monday, okay?
You know I don't want them.
I know, but I mean, the only other option is he waits till Monday and you have to come out here, get me, take me to the bank and bring me back.
No, I gotta go.
Yep.
Do you want me to take the recycling?
Yeah,
It's almost full. Where is the other one? Oh, there. I don't know where your pail is, but this water's sitting here.
did you water the plants?
Oh, sort of, yeah. You want soapy water in it?
Yeah, that's biodegradable soap.
Okay.
You used the soap that was here, right?
Yeah, it's yours.
Okay, it should be biodegradable then.
I didn't know if you wanted some of this in the bathroom pail.
No, leave it in that basin there.
Well, you're kind of too late. There's a little left.
Then just dump it in the plants.
I should have asked your opinion. You want to pop in there?
Yeah. I'll take one right now, yeah.
There's a cold one.
Okay.
pretty much fill it up. Since you've eaten Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Do you want me to put the nitro back?
No, I want to sit here for at least a day.
Okay.
Where did you put the pill container?
You want it over there?
Yeah, it's gotta be over here.
Okay.
That chair broke.
Oh, I didn't realize that. I just thought you were temporarily over here.
Well, hopefully I'm temporary over here. But, no, that controller went to hell in that one. And I can't get underneath it right now to. Susan? Susan!
Yes!
That little clear bottle with the black lid that you just picked up off the
Put
ground?
it back.
Okay, that is my bug.
I realized what it was. I thought it was one of your drink things. Okay.
There was two of them there, wasn't
There
there?
still is two.
Okay.
I realized what it was. Do you want the bottles in front of the door again?
I'll do it after you leave. That's good.
Okay.
Is Shitters in or out?
I haven't seen her.
She's probably outside then.
I haven't seen her either place.
Have a good week.